following is a presentation of ESPN on ABC.
You're watching the American Conference on ESPN from the home of a first-year member of the American, H.A. Chapman Stadium in Tulsa, where the Golden Hurricane today playing host to the number 4 team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners, who've made the short 2-hour drive from their campus in Norman to take on their in-state rival on a cool and cloudy day in northeast Oklahoma. Hi, everybody. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman will be joined in a moment by Todd McShay. Delighted to have you with us. Chris, Oklahoma was very impressive a week ago at home, opening the season with a 48-16 win against Louisiana Tech. It's only 1 week, but they look like the team that has a chance to be in that 4-team college football playoff at the end of the year.
In our preparation for games, we look at the film and look for weaknesses. And I could not find one weakness on Oklahoma, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. Trevor Knight improved from last year. Powerful offensive line, speed at running back, speed at the receivers, and a heck of a defense with number 80, Jordan Phillips, nose guard, is awesome. That's what you need to run a 3-4. He's the anchor, and he's the best I've seen so far.
And you left out good kickers, too. They seem to have it all. They've won 5 in a row dating back to the end of last season, including that impressive win over Alabama in the Sugar Bowl when we saw the emergence of Trevor Knight. With more on the Sooners quarterback down on the field, here's Todd McShay.
Well, Sean, not that Chris needs my stamp of approval, but I give it to him anyway. I agree. I think the big key is that quarterback position with Trevor Knight. If he can play this season like he did in the Sugar Bowl, I think Oklahoma has a legitimate chance to make it to the national championship game, certainly the playoff. What I loved in that game, 2 things. First of all, recognizing coverage early. You got to cover 3 with the safety rolled up, and then the touch and accuracy, dropping the ball down the chute. Trevor Knight has come a long way from early last season. He has been very impressive so far this year with his touch. If he keeps it up, Oklahoma is going to be tough to beat.
It is certainly a tough task today for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. They did win their opener here last week against Tulane in double overtime, but they're 3.5 touchdown underdog here today. Looks like on offense their best chance is through the air.
Well, they got a pretty good young quarterback themselves, and Dane Evans, number 9. Very accurate with the football, not afraid to make the tough throw. Then you have to look at Kevin Lucas, the playmaker. He can bust one from a short gain to a long gain by his running back ability at a receiver position.
233 yards receiving last week. He leads the nation in that category after 1 week of this season. Oklahoma and Tulsa in the kickoff right after this. We had rain here in Tulsa overnight, a dramatic change in the weather. The last few days it's been blistering sunshine and the temperature near 100 degrees at the moment. 68 degrees with overnight rain, and it's continued to be a light drizzle into this morning. Very comfortable on this field turf. Tulsa won the toss and deferred, so Oklahoma will receive with Alex Ross back deep to take the kick from Michael Soper, a transfer from the University of Missouri, where he was a walk-on. Down to the goal line to Alex Ross. And good coverage by the Golden Hurricane. They stack up Ross just shy of the 20-yard line. Well, that's where the Sooners begin, led by Trevor Knight out of San Antonio, Texas. There's the number 9 for his idol, Drew Brees. He met Drew when they were in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl, and he was the MVP of that win over Alabama. Career highs in all of those categories. The OU Bowl record with 4 touchdown passes. Knight's a redshirt sophomore and begins the game in the gun and flips it forward. Sterling Shepard turns the corner and is run out of bounds inside the 30-yard line of Tulsa by DeMarco Nelson, the safety. So a great start for OU. 54 yards on the first play.
You have wide receivers block downfield with passion. Big things happen. Take a look at Sterling Shepard. That's their idea. Get speed on the perimeter and force you to make a play in space, and there's a touchdown right there.
Oh, wow. It should have been if Teron Neal could have stayed on his feet. He was wide open. But he went to the ground while catching it, so it's 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. The Sooners are going to go quickly again. That's a 20-yard gain. Last week on defense, Tulsa gave up a lot of big plays to Tulane. They gave up 516 yards of offense to the Green Wave. They had trouble with missed assignments and missed tackles, and both have already shown up for the defense on 2 plays today. 1st and goal. Knight handed it off. Keith Ford, that was easy. 3 plays and a touchdown for Oklahoma.
Thought they did a great job there, the front side, the left side of the offensive line, sealing off that defensive line, Chris. And the fullback, Ripkowski, number 48, does a great job as usual. This team so big and physical up front in the run game.
And they'll continue to show their dominance once they take the lead. Again, it's about attacking weak points, and Tulsa has a weak point on every part of their defense.
Michael Honeycutt kicks the extra point. So just 57 seconds for the Sooners to go 81 yards officially in 3 plays.
Well, this is where they're going to try to exploit anybody that they play. They have such great athletes on the perimeter. They want to get them in space to force the defense to make plays in space. And right now, athlete for athlete, Tulsa cannot match that. And if you want to play in Bob Stoops' offense, you have to have the ability to block downfield.
I think even, what's that? Sorry, I just couldn't hear a call for some reason. All right, cool, thank you.
Obviously, Todd having a problem with his audio down there on the field. We'll work to get it corrected. Keith Ford, the touchdown. And Nick Hodgson will kick off. Strong leg. He had 7 touchbacks last week against Louisiana Tech. Very little wind to speak of. What breeze there is into Hodgson. He sends one tumbling down about 4 yards deep, and D'Angelo Brewer took a knee. So a quick deficit for Dane Evans. Bill Blankenship, the head coach, is also the play caller, so he'll give Dane the first play. They're down 7-0 as the offense takes the field for the first time today for Tulsa. He's a sophomore from Sanger, Texas, north of Dallas. Grew up following Oklahoma football very closely. Has a lot of relatives in the state of Oklahoma. Struggled last year with his accuracy, and it was a big reason why they scored just 21 points per game, among the lowest scoring teams in the country. On target on his first throw today, short gain to Kieris Garrett, a pickup of 3.
And one of the things that's going to help him with his accuracy is the fact they changed the offense a little bit. They gave a little freedom to wide receivers where they were going to run their routes. Now they have designated routes that they must meet, so Dane Evans, the quarterback, knows where to put the football.
The handoff to Tavarian Dickerson. Nice run. Flag down back near the line of scrimmage. Dickerson down at the 38-yard line, a first down if it stands. Charles Tapper with the stop, but it's coming back. Reggie Smith, the referee today.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Get number 16, Mandel Dixon, on the hold. But right there, you see Dickerson does give him a little bit of explosiveness from that running back position. Come into your sights right here. Excellent cut by Dickerson. You have Dixon that has the block. You have to be able to have the discipline to let go. Don't get those hands on that jersey. Lay off.
Out of the shotgun. Evans in trouble and taken down. Sacked back near the 13-yard line. Chuka Ndulue with the primary hit, the 5th-year senior out of Dallas.
Again, this is the 3-4 defense, and if you can get pressure by just rushing 3, that puts 8 in coverage. And when you have big fellas that can get to the quarterback and rush the edge with speed, good things happen for the Sooner defense.
Now they go to their NASCAR package on defense, bringing even faster pass rushers onto the field, including number 82, Obo Bronquo. Evans retreating, throws it off his back foot, incomplete. The general direction of Josh Atkinson. So a dreadful start for the underdog Golden Hurricane. They give up a touchdown on 3 plays on Oklahoma's first possession. Now they'll punt on 4th and 22. Dalton Parks is their punter. And Sterling Shepard back to return it. They were a terrific punt return team last year with Jalen Saunders handling that role. They were 8th in the nation. Shepard had a good week returning punts against La Tech. Kaya Quick went quickly to the ground as he stumbled to catch that wobbly punt.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
This is the 27th meeting all time between these two in-state rivals. It dates back to 1914. Oklahoma's dominated lately. They've won the last 7, 12 of the last 13. Tulsa hasn't won against the Sooners here since 1942. The only win in the last 13 meetings for Tulsa was in 1996. That was the year Oklahoma went 3-8. Swing pass to Deron Neal. And they continue to gain big yardage on every play. Michael Muto, the safety, made the stop for the Golden Hurricane, but it's at the 41-yard line of Tulsa already. 16 more.
Yeah, and here it is. The problem in space. You had Suits, number 28, with the ability to make the tackle. Neal ran right through him.
Play fake. Knight throwing deep, and it is just a little bit too long for Sterling Shepard with Dwight Dobbins running in coverage. The starting cornerback. Here's today's Impact Players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
You got Keith Ford and Sterling Shepard, 2 of the high-powered weapons on offense. The safety is the best part of this Tulsa defense, DeMarco Nelson and Michael Muto.
Muto was one of the leading tacklers in the country last year, 4th in the nation. You don't want your safety to be that busy. Nelson missed all of last year for academics. They're trying to set up a little screen, and Shepard slips down as he was surrounded by Tulsa defenders at the 45-yard line. Derek Alexander made the stop. It's a family affair for the Alexanders today. His brother Dom is a terrific defender for the Oklahoma defense.
Derek did a veteran move right there, recognizing the screen pass coming off his pass rush from the defensive end position to get involved in the play.
Loss of 4. They're outside of the field goal range of Michael Honeycutt. Trevor Knight out of the gun. 4 receivers, 2 to each side. Tulsa brings pressure. Knight got away from it. Now he's across the line of scrimmage, then bumped out of bounds near the 40. Chased out again by Derek Alexander.
Huge series for the Tulsa defense. And it starts up front with a nice little zone coverage blitz with a safety deep. Everybody covered one-on-one, and Trevor Knight making a veteran move himself, but not trying to force anything and playing field position by getting out of bounds.
So Jed Barnett on to punt for Oklahoma. This is the returning starting punter, senior DeMarco Nelson, back at the 11-yard line waiting for it. He won't have a chance to return this one as it's well into the end zone. So things stabilize a bit after the rocky start for the Golden Hurricane. Back on offense after this.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and Dodge Dart. Don't touch it.
Look inside the Tulsa Sports Hall of Fame here on campus. Proud history in athletics. You saw Howard Twilley's plaque, Jerry Rome, 2 great players in the early and mid 60s. Each was runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. Steve Largent, a Tulsa product. They've had some great players here over the years, and in recent years some good teams. They've had a winning record 8 out of the last 10 years, coming off a 3-9 very disappointing season a year ago. James Flanders carries for 3. Eric Stryker made the tackle.
You know, it's interesting, guys, and Chris, you alluded to it before. Tulsa likes to run the 3-over-1 set offensively. Trips wide receivers to one side, and then Kieris Garrett at wide receiver, the opposite, isolating him. He's 6'4", 221, and he's a big-time playmaker. Usually brings a safety over to him to give extra attention. But Oklahoma has Zach Sanchez at cornerback. They're letting him play one-on-one.
And that's a matchup to watch as the game goes on.
Out of the pistol, Flanders. Both teams are running back by committee. Flanders will split time with the freshman D'Angelo Brewer. And you've already seen Tavarian Dixon. Flanders is a sophomore from Midwest City, Oklahoma. Bill Blankenship in his 4th year as head coach at his alma mater. Mentioned the 3-9 a year ago, 1 year removed from a conference championship in Conference USA when they won 11 games. That rough year last year, he acknowledges, has put him on the hot seat. 3rd down and 5. Short pass, short of the first down. It was caught. Connor Floyd did a good job to hang on as he got hit by Stephen Parker. But they're still 2 yards short of the first down, and Tulsa will punt.
The strength of the Oklahoma defense, even though there is a completed pass and a well-designed play, their defensive backs are so good at breaking on the ball, they eliminate any chance for run after catch.
So Dalton Parks will punt again. And Sterling Shepard back deep. Kick it short of the 2 deep men for Oklahoma. Quick was also back there. And it's down by Luke Snyder. Looks like they're going to mark it back near the 26-yard line. In-state rivalry. About 104 miles from Norman, central Oklahoma, up here to the northeastern part of the state. Big difference between these two schools. Oklahoma, large public institution with graduate students. They're right around 30,000, while Tulsa is the smallest FBS school with 3,400 undergrads. But the Golden Hurricane with more former players who are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They have 3. The great Jim Finks, who was a tremendous player and then a great executive in the National Football League. Steve Largent, and the lineman Bob St. Clair.
Bob St. Clair was the guy that ate the raw meat, I believe, for the San Francisco 49ers. I love it.
Is that where you learned it?
Yes, I did.
Trevor Knight out of the gun. First down, Oklahoma. 9 minutes to go, first quarter. Sooners leading 7-0. And that's an area they want to see improvement this year. Knight sliding when it makes sense. Self-preservation. Flag down in the middle of the field. He gained 5.
I almost think, Sean, that all quarterbacks need to go to baseball school and get a sliding program down. You don't want to slide head first because you're vulnerable. It's got to be like sliding into second base. Even RG3 has had issues with sliding. It's all about prevention.
I believe it was defensive holding on Michael Muto. So it's a first down for OU out of the 43-yard line. Pistol now with Alex Ross, the running back. High soft snap at a big hole off the left side for Ross, sophomore from the Tulsa area. Jenks High School, which has been good to Oklahoma over the years. Sent a lot of players there. Todd?
Offensive line for Oklahoma averages 329 pounds. We were talking to the defensive coordinator for Tulsa, Brent Guy, and he said he talked to one of his friends in Dallas, said that's bigger than our offensive line. The Cowboys only 314 pounds on average.
Knight throws through the hands of Duran Neal. DeMarco Nelson in coverage. It is a big and talented offensive line. Neil Casatati in there at right guard today. He did not play last week against Louisiana Tech due to some bumps and bruises. Ty Darlington, the center,
is a first-year starter, but they think the tackles are some of the best in the country, particularly the right tackle, Darrell Williams, first-team preseason All Big 12. Darlington, the center, is the roommate of the quarterback. Knight, to whom he shotgun snaps. Screen. Neal. First down. To the 42 of Tulsa, where DeMarco Nelson made another tackle. 9-yard gain.
Sean, not only are they big, and what you and Todd alluded to, but they can move and get downfield. Although they threw a no-hitter on Dobbins, the corner, they've made him adjust to get the first down.
Knight got them the line very quickly. Here's Dimitri Flowers, the fullback, with an 11-yard pickup on a pass play. And Tulsa wasn't even lined up on defense. The pace so fast. And now they will substitute. Tulsa can sub if it wants to, but Brent Guy elects not to change any of his defensive personnel. 7 first downs already for OU. So many different formations. KJ Young looking for a block that didn't come from Deron Neal, and then he got buried by Will Barrow, the corner, and DeMarco Nelson.
The Golden Hurricane are happy to have DeMarco Nelson back, coming off an injury of last year. Played okay, big interception to save the game last week, but they need more production and consistency out of their veteran.
They found out just before their opener last year at Bowling Green that he was academically ineligible, when it really threw them into a tailspin. Quarterback draw. Great call, beautifully executed. Touchdown, Trevor Knight. .31-yard run. Jay Norvell here to congratulate him, co-offensive coordinator. He and Josh Heupel and this offensive staff do a great job. So much you have to contend with when you play against Oklahoma, and then the quarterback run game is a huge part of it. Well blocked, great call. Touchdown, and it's 14-0.
You're right, Sean. There's something to be said about game planning. Oklahoma knew Tulsa was going to be in a man-to-man coverage, which when the running back and the linebacker go, vacates an area. Now, what you have to do as a defense is put somebody in to fill for number 40, Trent Martin. They do not. Oklahoma has numbers 5-on-4, then the good athlete that Trevor is exploits that defense, and you show his ability to run the football as well as throw it, and you get 6 points. That's a great call by Josh Heupel, Jay Norvell. Excellent.
Knight was the starting quarterback at the beginning of last year. He got hurt. Blake Bell took over. Knight became the starter again at the end of the year. This year it is clearly Trevor Knight's team. Blake Bell has moved to tight end. Bob Stoops says that has made it much easier in practice, as Knight gets the vast majority of the reps with the first string, and the offense is really geared completely around what he can do. D'Angelo Brewer brings the kickoff back, and he got wrestled down at the 23 by Derek Woods. Here's Robert Flores in the studio.
Hey, Sean, Taco Bell studio update. Nebraska has never lost to an FCS team. They were losing to McNeese. Derek Milton, the touchdown run, but then the Huskers answered with a touchdown of their own. They're tied at 7 on ESPNU. Sean and Chris.
All right, Roflo, thank you. Knight's touchdown has made it 14-0. Dane Evans comes out firing. Kevin Lucas dragged out of bounds, but it's a first down. The first of the day for Tulsa. Eric Stryker made the tackle, a gain of 12.
As good as Eric Stryker is, that's a matchup that the Golden Hurricane will take because of Garrett's size and speed on the linebacker.
And Tulsa lines up quickly. Evans elected to keep it. In case you missed either of the touchdowns, video of touchdowns is posted on the Sports Center app, which is available on your mobile devices and tablets whenever you need it. If you walk away from the TV for just a moment, you run the risk of missing an Oklahoma score with the pace at which they play and their ability to put up points. They dominated last week against Louisiana Tech, and they're off to a dominant start today. Evans in trouble. Throws incomplete. Just trying to get rid of it.
Well, this is what you'll see is the speed of Oklahoma, recognizing that's a roll pass or a sprint out. Linebackers then can vacate coverage and become second contained to force the bad throw by Dane Evans.
There's Eric Stryker, who's putting the heat on the quarterback. Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, said Stryker is a constant nuisance to the offense, and he is one of the best players in the country. Number 19. They're showing blitz. They bring up blitz, and it is lofted over the head of Kevin Lucas, who had single coverage from the backup safety Stephen Parker.
Again, this is the depth of Oklahoma. A freshman safety from right here in Tulsa. Got away from the Golden Hurricane, playing good man-to-man coverage. You see that left hand swatting. That's a coaching point for young DBs to swat the hand of the receiver to slow his momentum running downfield.
Mike Stoops, third year back on his brother's staff after he left to go to Arizona as the head coach for a 7-year run. Sterling Shepard slipped down. His field turf is still slick after the overnight and morning rain. Had off and on light drizzle since the game started. College football action continues right after our game, 3:30 Eastern time. USC, ranked number 14, takes on 13th ranked Stanford. A huge early season game in the Pac-12. Stanford's won 5 of the past 7 meetings. How about USC last week against Fresno State? 105 snaps.
Well, that's Sarkisian's effect on them, and he's going to go fast. And when you have a quarterback that's efficient like Kessler, you're able to run that many snaps in the ball game.
Knight surrounded by backs. Throws. Looked like Shepard was down on a knee, and he was, so they'll mark him down where he caught it at the 37 with Kerwin Thomas in coverage, backup cornerback.
You know, anytime they have a big play, they like to go hurry up. That's what a lot of offenses do. Good job of Shepard coming back for the ball in a very crisp route that he ran.
18-yard gain, 7 out of 9 for Knight. He's thrown for over 100 yards just 10 minutes into the game. Samaje Perine came in behind him in the pistol. Nice catch by Blake Bell. His first career catch.
Blake Bell, one thing you're able to do is dictate personnel when you go hurry up like this. Blake Bell was on the sideline before that play. They brought him in. It doesn't give Tulsa any time to adjust from a personnel standpoint. They got the matchup that they wanted.
Perine carries for the first down. Derek Lugin made the tackle. Bell was the starting quarterback a year ago when they played Tulsa in Norman. He had a very big game. Decided his future was at tight end. Knight throws on the run, caught. Another slip, preventing run after the catch for Deron Neal, but he has the first down right on the 40-yard line.
Yeah, the versatility of Knight right there, Sean. We saw that he's able to be accurate on the drop back and also very accurate on the sprint out or rollout. He's getting better and better. He's much improved from last year.
And his improvement really led Blake Bell to go to the coaches and say, I'd like to move to tight end. I think he could see the writing on the wall. But Knight's performance in the Sugar Bowl, their win over Alabama, he was clearly going to be the quarterback this year. Play fake, deep ball, man open, and it's just too long for Sterling Shepard. With Dwight Dobbins in coverage.
I just want to go back to Blake Bell, and off the film, you know, he's a very average tight end, but the only reason is because it's so new to him.
He's played one game.
But, yeah, and he's a competitor, and he'll get it. And once he becomes a more, I guess, efficient blocker, a more consistent blocker, this offense will even blossom even more.
Certainly has the size for it. Keith Ford behind Knight now. He takes the handoff. Dragging tacklers inside the 35-yard line. Ford, Ross, and Pirine all split time last week. They're all relative newcomers. None of them saw a lot of action last year. Pirine's a true freshman. They were an effective trio for Bob Stoops against La Tech. They ran for 164 yards combined and 5 touchdowns. And it's going to be running back by committee, but there's 3 good ones.
Oh, absolutely. And Pirine, he's built like a stack of bricks. He's a big, thick kid and powerful runner.
243 pounds. 3rd down and 5. They're on the edge of field goal range. High, soft snap again. And it's a 1st down and more. Keith Ford to the 25-yard line. Michael Mudo made the tackle. A 10-yard pickup.
Yeah, that's the danger of this Oklahoma offense. Very versatile, and that's almost shades of Barry Switzer. That was the old belly option, which you don't see very often.
Single coverage, and it is caught. And no, incomplete, pardon me. Austin McDaniel broke it up. Sterling Shepard was the intended receiver.
And one of the keys about being a good defensive back, and Austin McDaniel will do this, you do not panic. When a receiver goes up, you go and play the hands. He got his right hand into the catching pocket of Sterling Shepard and was able to break it up. That's good composure for a corner. You need that in this day and age.
Knight, this pass was deflected, intended for K.J. Young with Will Barrow in coverage, but it looked like it was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
I've been really impressed with these defensive backs so far for Tulsa. It's not an easy matching up against these starting wide receivers of Oklahoma. Obviously Sterling Shepard with his speed, Deron Neal's a junior, but these corners are holding up so far. Doing a nice job.
3rd down and 10. Golden Hurricanes showing blitz. 4 receivers, 2 to each side for Trevor Knight. 5-man rush, well blocked. 1st down. K.J. Young inside the 10.
Recognizing the weakness of the defense is part of being a growing, maturing quarterback. Exactly what Trevor Knight did. Understood the matchup with Young on suits. Easy pitch and catch.
1st and goal. Straight ahead, Keith Ford. Gained a 4 to the 3-yard line. Derek Alexander made the tackle. He's the older of the Alexander brothers and a key player on the defense for Brent Guy. Defensive coordinator there in the middle of your screen without the hat. Former head coach at Utah State. Tough job trying to defend this talented Oklahoma team and the wide array of offense that they run. The play fake and the touchdown pass. Blake Bell. Well, he's rushed for 24 touchdowns in his career. He's thrown 12 TD passes, and now he has his first touchdown reception in his first year as a tight end, the 5th-year senior from Wichita.
Yeah, playing tight end and being an ex-quarterback, understands route. He ran a heck of a route and made a nice move on Barrow, number 23, the corner for Tulsa. Good job by Blake Bell, growing in the position.
They scored 21 in the first quarter last week against Louisiana Tech. They have 21 in the first quarter today at Tulsa. Blake Bell, the touchdown, capping a 12-play, 81-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Back in Tulsa, it's been all Sooners through the first 13 minutes. They lead 21-0, and it's been very easy to build this lead.
You know, when you're playing defense, the number one thing is keep your eyes on inside position. Do not give up the inside. Exactly what Will Barrow does here. Give up the inside on a little outside move. Good recognition again by Trevor Knight. Blake Bell showing solid hands.
Touchdown drives engineered by Knight of 81, 72, and 81 yards. 187 total yards already for the sophomore quarterback. Nick Hodgson kicks off, senior from North Richland Hills, Texas. D'Angelo Brewer, true freshman. Crossed the 20 and then got stopped by Hatari Bird and Dimitri Flowers. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, AT&T inside the headset. Good call here by the Toledo offensive coaching staff here. Kareem Hunt, 38-yard touchdown to pull even with number 24 Missouri. But the Tigers have gone back in front, 14-7. Gary Pinkel going against his old school, 14-7.
Gary Pinkel, longtime head coach at Toledo before his very nice run at Missouri. Wow. Ball's out at the end of that play. I believe they're going to say Dickerson was down for a loss of about 7. That play had no chance from the beginning. And Jabari and Dickerson a little bit slow to get up.
Well, and Dulue right here comes defensive end position, comes off his pass rush, and it's what they call a peel technique by recognizing screen and able to secure the football. And he is down, and the elbow causes the fumble. But again, the speed and size of this Oklahoma defense is overwhelming for this Tulsa offense.
Dane Evans, the quarterback. Short throw to Kevin Lucas. He's to the 19-yard line. Sophomore from Abilene.
You know, guys, Eric Stryker is just such a nuisance. When you, as an offensive coordinator and a play caller, you know you've got to get the ball out quickly. You don't know whether he's coming or going. 2 plays ago, he brought pressure off the right edge, and then this last play, he drops in coverage and makes the tackle. That's the trouble with him. You don't know whether he's coming or going, so you can't prepare before the snap.
Here he comes, twisting through the middle and forcing Evans to run to his right. Nice throw on the run to Kieris Garrett. And it's a first down for Tulsa out to the 32.
A good play by Dane Evans of keeping his eyes downfield. Garrett staying alive. And I want to let's go on Todd's point about Stryker. He is what they are looking for in college football, the hybrid between a safety and a linebacker that can play the run and pass both efficiently.
13-yard gain for the Hurricane. Evans, bunch of fakes, wanted to run a little bit longer, but again, he slipped on this wet field turf. That'll be the last play of the first quarter. Oklahoma 241 yards of offense in the first quarter. And the number 4 Sooners looking very much like one of the best teams in the country. Lead 21-0.
Okay, so you're officially off the clock. You better have a truck that can keep up. Ford F-150. From tailgating and touchdowns to suiting up and stepping out. It goes the distance with EcoBoost power and fuel economy, with all the slick details to keep you in the lap of luxury. Maybe that's why an F-Series truck is sold nearly every 42 seconds. Hey, get back to it, weekend warriors.
Now, during the Built Ford Tough Sales event, get $1,500 towards your trade-in on top of what it's worth and 0% financing.
We're back in Tulsa, Oklahoma. On to the second quarter. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Todd McShay. Number 4 Oklahoma leading 21-0. And on the first play of the second quarter, it's 2nd down and 10 for Dane Evans and the Golden Hurricane. D'Angelo Brewer gets about 4. Here's a look at the Pacific Life game summary from the first quarter. Total domination.
You see that 9.3 yards. That's almost a first down every play. And their defense has been so fast and swarming, just shutting down the Golden Hurricane offense.
Evans throws behind his intended receiver, and it's intercepted by Zach Sanchez. Off the hands of Kevin Lucas. Was not an accurate throw. Sanchez has an interception for the 4th game in a row.
Yeah, so when you have an opportunity to make a play, you have to make it. You got to get it into the hands of your playmaker, Lucas. The ball's behind. And you see Sanchez not giving up, coming off of his man and being able to make an athletic play with getting the hands before the ground to secure the interception.
Sanchez, redshirt sophomore, had an interception last week in their win against Louisiana Tech.
Some guys just have a knack for it. I mean, they're always around the ball. They always seem to come up and make the play when one needed to be made. He's an outstanding cover guy, and he's only getting better.
Blocked a field goal last week as well. He's a playmaker. They run a flea flicker. Knight throws short, and a sliding catch made by Deron Neal. He did catch it. About a yard and a half short of a first down.
Well, no signs of Coach Stoops coming off the gas pedal when you're going with a flea flicker right off the turnover. I love it.
Big hole. Pirine upended by Will Barrow, or he was off to the races. So they're getting yardage in big chunks. That goes to the 27-yard line. Gain of 10.
The offensive line, again, averaging 320 plus and just having their way with Tulsa. But I got a feeling they're going to have their way with a lot of Big 12 teams this year. They're so good, and they're playing as a unit, working like fingers in a glove.
Knight pressured and sacked. Had a long time, but didn't get rid of it. Derek Lugin took him down. About an 11-yard loss.
Well, they're trying to hit a big one over the top here with a nice little wheel route by number 88. You see he's going to go out and up. And good job of coverage by McDaniel. Trevor Knight got to get rid of the ball.
Yes. He had to know that he had been back there for quite a while. It was time to get rid of it. They don't give up many sacks. Three receivers to the right of Knight. Single receiver to the left. Ford is the running back. He goes in the flat. Knight pressured again, but he's on target. Deron Neal to the 20-yard line. They'll mark it back at the 21. About 4 yards short of the first down marker. Gain of 17.
Sign of a good quarterback and a strong arm. If you can throw the ball with zip off your back foot. And exactly what Knight did. Delivered that one, fading away.
This was just his 7th career start. He is getting better week to week. We asked Bob Stoops about his improvement. He said, well, he's just still a young player. He's going to get better with more experience. Lofts it up for Shepard, and he couldn't take it down. Good battle again with Austin McDaniel, the senior from Waco, Texas, who had the coverage. Former walk-on, now on scholarship at Tulsa.
Again, patience by Austin McDaniel on a double move. Good job of speed turning, and look at his head and eyes are focused not on the ball but on the hands, and arrives just in time, maybe a tad early, to break it up.
They gave him a little smack in the face just before the ball got there, but it's 4th down, and here's Michael Honeycutt, one of the very best in the country, and that one is good from 38 yards. Or the senior from Richardson, Texas, outside Dallas. Sanchez the interception to set it up for Bob Stoops, and the Sooners now lead 24-0. Celebrating its 10th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate has contributed more than $3.4 million in scholarship funds. Michael Honeycutt's field goal into the Allstate net. He's made it 24-0. He's on his way to becoming the all-time leading scorer at OU. Now 22 points away from passing DeMarco Murray. Bishop Louis brings the kickoff to the 15. Here's Todd McShay down on the field.
You know, Sean, one of the things that Chris and I saw yesterday when doing film studies that these wide receivers do a great job of blocking downfield. You see here the little underneath pitch, number 5, the wide receiver, Deron Neal, doing a great job 10 yards down the field, and then another guy, number 1, all the way down the field, KJ Young, still blocking for him. That's really springing a lot of big runs. And then you're going to see on the second level, 48, Ripkowski, the fullback, the 2 offensive tackles doing a nice job at 330 pounds. This group is big and it's physical. They also take a lot of pride in how they block downfield.
Out of the gun, Dane Evans on first down. Gets it to one of his best playmakers, Kevin Lucas, who's very close to a Tulsa first down. He gets 9. Oklahoma has run twice as many plays. 266 yards of offense already, 172 of it through the air for the Sooners.
And all efficient. And they look like they're in mid-season form. I think that's the biggest difference that I've watched in Oklahoma compared to a lot of other top teams. They're in mid-season form right now.
A lot of the heavily favored teams struggled a bit even while winning last week. Florida State, Alabama among them. James Flanders ridden back by Charles Walker, but it's a first down. You asked Bob Stoops about that last night in our meeting, Chris, and he said what really helped that Knight was the quarterback throughout the entire preseason and got all the reps, and they're running an offense that's designed only for him, not for Blake Bell. And it's the second year of this defense. They put this defense in right before the start of the season last year and were adjusting to it the entire season. They have a lot of people back on defense, and they're very comfortable in the system now.
We're starting to see NFL teams, and we're starting to see teams in college football revert back to the 3-4. What that does is allow you versatility. It gives you more variety in your blitz package because it's hard for offenses to account for where all these different guys are coming from. On a 4-3 defense, it's a little easier to count, and you can eliminate guys that are not dropping but automatically rushing. Mike's a good coach. Good hire by Bob bringing him back.
Evans, after the procedure penalty against Tulsa, throws to Kevin Lucas. Quentin Hayes made the tackle, and Zach Sanchez hurt his right arm, it seems.
Well, that's almost one of those, and I don't want to speculate, but I've seen that motion because I've had that motion. It's a stinger where your arm goes numb. One way to prevent that, and I don't know if Zach did it or not, but one way to prevent it, and this is a coaching point for young kids, is hit with your eyes. Let's see if his head goes down. You see how he ducked his head? Right there, Sean, is danger position for any football player. The one thing that I try to tell young kids, and what I try to do as a player, is make my eyeballs the first thing that hits the target. You see what you hit and you hit what you see. You can avoid those type of injuries. It's a hard thing to get in the habit of doing.
As they take a look at Zach Sanchez, will step aside. 10:24 to go in the first half here in Tulsa.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Fixture in Tulsa since 1966. The Golden Driller, that's 76 feet tall, 43,000-pound statue of an oil worker, just down the road from Chapman Stadium, the 4th tallest statue in the United States, dedicated to men and women who work in the petroleum industry. Big part of the economy in this part of the world. Evans, wow, what a hit by Julian Wilson as he laid out Derek Patterson, who's just now getting up.
Well, he's thrown into coverage. Julian Wilson's playing cover 2. His responsibility is flat. When you can get a beat and a read on the quarterback staring down his receiver, look at the eyes. The eyes are pointing right to the target. You'll get a great jump by Julian Wilson, and devastation is the answer. That's a Golden Driller right there.
Indeed it is. And first catch of the year for Derek Patterson. I think he'd prefer not to have another one if that's what they're all like.
Be memorable.
3rd down and 4. Pressure right up the middle. Evans throws, and it's a first down. Good run after the catch by Kevin Lucas. Tackled by Wilson and Hatari Bird. Julian lost his helmet. 12-yard gain and a first down for the Golden Hurricanes.
Nice job by Kevin Lucas. They've struggled all day, obviously, to protect the quarterback and these receivers to actually get separation. Lucas, not a great route runner, but he's their best wide receiver, and I think he's their best after the catch. So they're going to try to do anything they can, including reverses and bubble screens, to try to get the ball back in number 2's hands.
They give it to D'Angelo Brewer. He was a quarterback in high school here in Tulsa Central the last couple of years. He's been a pleasant surprise in camp. He's transitioned to running back. Gained a couple.
Everybody's trying to get explosive. And one thing, if you're Tulsa now, Wilson's coming back into the game, but you got a new corner in for Oklahoma. You might want to attack the area up at the top of your screen, and that's number 7, Jordan Thomas.
Zach Sanchez went off with the apparent stinger.
There it is.
Some trickery, and they throw into double coverage, and they interfered with the receiver, it seemed, and the flag is down. Bishop Louis was settling under it, and he got tackled by Ahmad Thomas. That's going to be 15 yards from the line of scrimmage and another first down.
Well, again, that's a good call and recognition by Bill Blankenship, the play caller for Tulsa, the head coach, understanding that there's a new corner in there, so go ahead and try to trick him a little bit, go deep, and they were able to exploit that coverage just a tad. Lack of help by Ahmad Thomas, and a good decision by Ahmad, let me tell you this right now, to save the touchdown by throwing
Pass
interference.
Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Actually, it's unfortunate for Tulsa that Louis didn't hang on. He had a chance to. Then they would have had the ball inside the 20. Instead, it comes to the 40 on the 15-yard penalty from the line. First time in Oklahoma territory today for Coach Blankenship's Golden Hurricane. Evans fires a bullet to Kevin Lucas. It's a very good academic institution here. They're both exercise science majors, Lucas and Evans. And they told us yesterday, spent part of the summer in the laboratory, chopping up cats. I don't mean to cadaver cats.
Yeah, they were
learning about the body and that sort of thing. For the animal people send their letters, it was Chris Spielman who divulged that information. Learned it yesterday from that duo. But
yeah, we've come a long way since frogs. Back in that school was frogs. Now they're doing cats.
Some research on cats in the lab. Both of them eventually want to be coaches. Evans is the son of a coach. His dad was his offensive coordinator in high school in Sanger, Texas. And Lucas would either like to coach or be a personal trainer. First down picked up by Flanders. And once you get into coaching, you probably won't have to do research on cats anymore.
No, I don't think there's any. You'll find a good offense or defense inside a cat.
I like what Evans told us yesterday about being the son of a coach. Bill Blankenship, by the way, has 2 of his sons on his coaching staff. He said, yeah, my dad and I would just sit at home and we sort of designed the offense together. Drop whatever plays we could think of. They were similar to the offenses run at Texas Tech over the years under Mike Leach. Spread you out and throw it all over the place. He threw for more than 9,000 yards in high school. Timeout, Tulsa.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
And we're excited to be the home of the college football playoff. Top 4 teams selected by a 13-person committee will play for the national championship. We want to know in today's athletic trivia question, which 2 schools had the most top 4 appearances in the weekly BCS standings? Of course, that's pertinent because you want to be in the top 4 at the end of the year with this committee. Dane Evans, good looking drive for Tulsa. He threw a bullet to Kieris Garrett for a first down for the Golden Hurricane at the 10-yard line, a gain of 19.
Well, it's all about rhythm, and this is a rhythm throw to Garrett, the big 6'4" wide receiver, again working on the replacement defensive back, Stavon Taylor.
Garrett doing a very nice job. Obviously, with his size, they're trying to match him up against a younger cornerback with inexperience. He brings so much to the table as a quarterback, the ability to throw to him when he's mismatched because of the size.
On first down, Garrett slipped down at the goal line. That 19-yard gain on the previous play, the longest of the day for Tulsa.
A missed opportunity right there. That was a touchdown waiting to happen, and Dane Evans delivered it behind.
This rain overnight and this morning has definitely made the field a little bit slick on the field turf. Second and goal. Evans throws back corner of the end zone, and Garrett couldn't get it. And his loss last year was a big reason why they were disappointing 3-9. They were the preseason pick to win Conference USA. They had won it the year before. Won 11 games, beat Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl, but Garrett went down with a broken leg in their second game of the season last year against Colorado State, and that took a big piece, literally a very big piece, out of their offense.
They're expecting big things from him, and he really helps by his presence. Kevin Lucas out there, number 2, to get open and get the ball to him in space. So 2 good wide receivers for this Golden Hurricane offense.
Timeout called by Oklahoma. And it gives us a chance to get an update back in the studio from Robert Flores.
All right, Wells Fargo getting it done, Sean, and that's definitely the case for Aaron Sam of McNeese. A 98-yard interception return for touchdown as McNeese ties this game at 14. Remember, Nebraska has never lost to an FCS school, but they're tied with one right now. 14 apiece, 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, but the Huskers are at the 1-yard line right now on ESPNU.
My advice would be give it to Amir Abdullah. Then after you're done with that, give it to Amir Abdullah.
A lot of people like Nebraska's chances in the West, the newly aligned Big Ten. Tulsa trying to get on the board here. Oklahoma leading 24-0. Dane Evans has had a nice drive for the Golden Hurricanes. 6 for 8 passing for 57 yards. He threw for 438 in their double overtime win last week against the Green Wave of Tulane. 9th best game in school history in terms of passing yardage. They've had some very good quarterbacks here. Evans, and the ball slipped out of his hand as he wound up to throw. Jordan Phillips rumbling the other way. "69 yards as Phillips strolled to the end zone. It looked like he was just out for a little Saturday jog, and nobody caught him. There is a flag down back at the other end of the field to the 33-yard line.
Well, that's the difference between a young team trying to make something happen and a team that's poised to make a run. You see big Jordan Phillips. Now, keep your eye on this play. Look, Charles Tapper, number 91. Kevin Lucas is coming in to try to strip that ball, but the big defensive end, Tapper, gives the assist for his partner Jordan Phillips into the end zone with an excellent block.
Jordan Phillips, 6'6", 334. Coming off back surgery, played very little last week. They didn't need him. Wanted to ease him back into action. He missed most of last year after that back injury. You loved him when we watched the film yesterday.
Well, why I love him, because of his size. And when you're that kind of athlete at that size in a 3-4 defense, the nose guard is the most important position in that defense because he sets the tone and he allows linebackers to make plays.
During the return, personal foul, return team, number 98, hitting a player obviously out of the play. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Oklahoma keeps the ball. First down.
Not the first thing that Ndulue has done wrong today. Chuka called for the penalty. He's had 3 tackles for a loss in this game already.
You can
It was
see
clearly a fumble too. The ball just came slipping out of the hands of Evans.
Yeah, and again, that's a guy that's taught in his instincts are to play harder to knock somebody down. But today's day and age of college football, and it's a good rule. If a guy is not even close to the play, you have to have the discipline to lay off, and they're going to call it. That's a good call by the officials. You got to lay off. It's part of the game now.
A tough break for Phillips as his touchdown's taken back. Oklahoma begins from its 18. Alex Ross, all kinds of room. Alex Ross with one man to beat. Well, the 69-yard fumble return came back, but one play later, it's an 82-yard touchdown run by Alex Ross.
Well, I'm reminded of Star Wars stormtroopers, man. You take one out, and it's the exact replica, the next guy. And Alex Ross, with a big open hole, shows what he brings to the table for Boomer Sooners offense: speed and the ability to finish.
Michael Honeycutt kicks the extra point. Alex Ross, sophomore from right here in the Tulsa area. Longest run of his career. 31-0 Sooners. Oklahoma's had just 10.5 minutes of possession. They lead 31-0. We answered today's Aflac trivia question: which two teams have the most top 4 appearances in the weekly BCS standings? The correct answer: Alabama and Oklahoma. 43 weeks over the history of the BCS, which dates back to 1997, concluded at the end of last season. They were in the top 4. Oklahoma actually had more number 1 rankings in the BCS standings, 20 over that time. Alabama 16, but I think a lot of us are happy to see that system go. Well, for the most part, year to year, it accomplished what it intended to. Got the 2 most deserving teams to play head-to-head for the national championship. Now there will be a 4-team college football playoff at the end of this season. To be selected, those 4 teams, by a committee. Long way to go in this season, but Oklahoma making some impressive opening statements, routing Louisiana Tech in week 1. Kickoff out of the back of the end zone by Nick Hodgson, and now hammering this Tulsa team. It's tough, as you said at the beginning of the telecast, was being reinforced through the first quarter and a half. Tough to find a weakness on Oklahoma.
Well, the argument could be made that, well, they're playing Louisiana Tech, now Tulsa, but the point is they're dominating those teams, and you can see the physical dominance that Oklahoma brings to the table. But the thing that I've been impressed with on film and in person is that they do not make mental mistakes, and you're seeing the maturation of Trevor Knight, making good decisions, accurate with the football, and also has the ability to run it. And they're not even using all their tricks on offense. I mean, they're playing basic scrimmage ball right now.
And they played it very close to the vest last week against Louisiana Tech as well. Dane Evans, for a nice drive on the last possession, ended in his lost fumble. Handed it off to James Flanders, who got taken down by Dominique Alexander. This battle with the Alexander brothers today. Dominique's side, the Sooners, with a decided edge. I spoke with Derek Alexander yesterday, Dom's older brother. He said the biggest challenge facing them this week was getting enough tickets for all their family, extended family, and friends who want to be here today. It turns out some of those people could have just gone to the ticket window. There were empty seats here. There are, and there were tickets available this morning. Eric Stryker put pressure on and caused that errant pass in the direction of Josh Atkinson. They're the brothers Alexander. They're very close. Matter of fact, because they played on different days last week, they each had a chance to go in person to watch the other play in the season opener. But Derek told us yesterday they didn't talk at all this week, going head to head.
Good. Shouldn't talk to him unless there's a family emergency.
3rd down and 9 now for Tulsa. Hard to believe they're empty seats. It's only a 30,000 seat stadium. That's up for grabs and almost picked off by Atari Bird. In the general direction of Connor Floyd.
Again, they have the confidence to blitz from anywhere with anybody. And Atari Bird, who I'm sure wanted to be a wide receiver at one point in time, shows you why he's showing blitz and getting back there, getting to depth, and why he's a defensive back and an outstanding defensive back. All those defensive backs think they're basketball players or wide receivers, but there's a reason why they play defensive back. Good cover guy, Atari Bird.
Dalton parks the punt. And there's a flag down as the fair catch was made. Marking it at the moment at the 30-yard line.
I'm talking to Coach Stoops last night, Sean. One area where he sees vast improvement is the linebacker position for Oklahoma, and that's because of Alexander. I mean, he's an instinctive guy. Loved him on film. And
During the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team, number 17. 10-yard penalty to know the punt was caught. First down.
the reason why he's able to make so many plays is that dominant defensive line and the size of that defensive line.
Tom Alexander, the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year last season. He was second on their team in tackles with 80. Got thrust into the lineup due to injury, particularly to Corey Nelson. In his first start, he made 19 tackles against Texas in his first career start. Knight comes out slinging to KJ Young. He got walloped right at the line of scrimmage. Craig Suits there. Five minutes to go, first half. Oklahoma leading 31-0. They've won the last 7 head-to-head in this rivalry by an average margin of 37 points. Samaje Perine in at running back. He took the handoff. Trent Martin made the stop.
Yeah, guys, I think one of the big questions, really, the college football landscape coming into this year. We knew that Oklahoma was going to be really good, but Trevor Knight, how good was he going to be? Was he going to be the quarterback that we saw in that Sugar Bowl a year ago? And I know competition hasn't been great, Louisiana Tech and Tulsa, but so far he's answered the bell. I mean, accuracy, the mental makeup, he's grading out very well in all facets of the game. And he's also doing a nice job of protecting himself, too. He realizes they're not very deep at quarterback, and he's got to stay healthy if Oklahoma's going to make a run at the playoff.
Third down and 8. And he slides down, trying to stay healthy, but he went down short of the first down. Todd, we saw your grades on the screen. Are those your overall grades for Knight entering today? Or?
Yeah, that was just based off of film assessment, basically going back to last year, weighing the Sugar Bowl and the first game of this year a little bit more. Again, that was kind of the question with him. Is he going to be the quarterback we saw in the Sugar Bowl, or was he going to revert back to what we saw earlier last year? And by all accounts, talking to coaches too, it was a maturation, and that happens at the quarterback position, needing time. He wasn't the starter coming into the year, but I've been really encouraged by the early results from Trevor Knight.
Jed Barnett, high short kick, fair catch signaled by Connor Floyd. And the line of scrimmage will be the 42.
Well, Todd talked about the mental makeup right here. Look at his eyes. He's reading the second level defender. That's part of the mental makeup. He'll pull the ball out and throw the skinny post right here. One of the things he does very well is on those little swing passes, Sean, you pointed this out, is his accuracy with that ball to get the guy in motion so he doesn't have a hard transition from catch to run. And I think his mom would be happy that that C+ is probably a B+ for the makeup on Todd McShay's report card after this game.
Dane Evans handed it off. James Flanders broke a couple of tackles, got 7 before he's taken down by Eric Stryker. That was the one that jumped out at me too, Todd, the C+ for mental makeup. What do you think he's lacking in that area? What would he need to do to get a higher grade from you in that area?
So much of it is just inexperience, really. I mean, last year, if you look at the entire season, he improved with his decision making, with his ability to read coverages, and it's just a question of how he continues to improve in that regard. It really is. How does he hold off the safety with his eyes? Does he check out of bad plays and get the team into good plays? How does he carry himself on the field? But mental makeup, there's a big umbrella, and there are a lot of aspects underneath it. But Trevor Knight is trending in the right direction. I know Chris loves that phrase.
Well, hey, the other thing, Todd, that just comes with reps and experience.
Exactly.
And the more time he plays, the better that becomes, and the more confident he gets in his decision making.
C+ is a good grade. I mean,
Wow.
some of us would have taken some C+.
Yeah. We saw your transcript from Richmond. That is certainly true. 5 wide receivers now for Evans, who's missed on 5 straight passes, and that one's batted down to the line of scrimmage by Charles Tapper.
Another strength of this defensive line, their mental makeup. Why? They recognize quick throws, so they're able to pull off their pass rush. And with those big, giant frames, they get the giant paws in the air, and that's, I think, the 3rd or 4th tip ball at the line of scrimmage for the Boomer Sooner defensive line.
Tapper, a terrific player. His first team All Big 12 last year. Didn't play football until his junior year in high school in Baltimore. He's a fine basketball player. 5th punt of the day for Dalton Parks, and they can't quite rescue it. Tonight on ESPN's College Football Prime Time. 2 of the great coaches in the game square off. Frank Beamer, the winningest active coach in terms of total wins. His Virginia Tech Hokies take on Urban Meyer, who's the leader in winning percentage among the active coaches. His Buckeyes ranked number 8. College Football Prime Time presented by Hampton Hotels tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Also on Watch ESPN. Frank Beamer, as we said, the winningest active coach. And 6th all time now. The young team that he brings to Columbus for the first meeting ever against your Buckeyes.
Yeah, Bud Foster will have that defense ready to go for the Hokies. And I expect Urban and Tom Herman, the offensive coordinator, to open it up early for JT Parrott to get him going, showing, hey, don't go manage the game, go play the game and go win the game.
Keith Ford stacked up after a short gain. Michael Muto made the tackle, and Trent Martin lost his helmet, so he has to come out.
He's an important part of this Tulsa defense, coming off a really tough knee injury last year and led the team in tackles last week with 12, but didn't play all that well. That's not just my evaluation, that's a coach's evaluation, but he's a good player that studies, puts the time in, and he'll get better as the year goes on.
He's the guy who gets them all lined up. Derek Alexander, Michael Muto yesterday telling us it was critically important to have Martin on the field, particularly against a team like this that throws so much at you. Whoa, dangerous throw that time. Austin McDaniel saw it coming. You know, it's interesting, Chris, we talked about the importance of DeMarco Nelson, who missed all of last year, but he had a couple of whiffs early in the game. They yanked him out, moved Will Barrow from corner to safety, put McDaniel in at corner, and McDaniel's made some big plays.
Yeah, he's been really good today.
Deep throw. McDaniel in coverage again, and that time he couldn't break it up. Sterling Shepard the reception. There is a flag down near where the catch was made, and they're going to mark it at the 39-yard line. Austin McDaniel injured on the play. 39-yard gain.
Pass interference, defense, number 37. The penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
Good job of Shepard right here. McDaniel gets caught peeking back, and you have a speedster like Shepard. Luckily for McDaniel, that ball is underthrown, or he's dancing in the end zone.
Shepard limps off. Terrific player. Bob Stoops says one of the very best wide receivers that he's had in his 16 years at OU. That pass intended for Derek Woods and knocked away by Dwight Dobbins. There is a flag on that play for pass interference against Tulsa.
Again, it looks like they're doing a good job.
Pass interference, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty.
Of trying to battle these Oklahoma wide receivers, and we'll take a look at the replay. Dobbins right there with a little shove, and the ball is in the air. Why he gave him that little forearm. Got to have the discipline to trust your training, especially when you're in good position. Lay off. Have the discipline, no contact.
Pistol now. Ford sprints out of it to the left of Trevor Knight, who throws back across the middle. Another flag down. 2 flags down as Blake Bell has his 2nd catch of the day.
Well, Casatati, number 54, the offensive guy, was the deepest guy in the route because it was a set-up screen pass. So that's one where he might want to just take it down to avoid that penalty of ineligible man downfield. That's a part of the mental makeup thing too. Well, he'll learn, and that's an experienced play that he'll know not to make again.
There are 2 fouls on the play. An eligible player down throw on the pass. Offense, number 54. That penalty is the foul. Pass interference. Offense, number 12. 15 yards from the previous spot. Or put it down.
Derek Woods called for pass interference. Good news for the Sooners. Sterling Shepard is back on the field. Trevor Knight played the entire game last week against Louisiana Tech in that route, largely because they didn't have a healthy backup. They wanted to play. Cody Thomas was bothered by a muscle strain, oblique. He is available today. Knight going for Shepard. He's open. The ball's out of bounds. Dwight Dobbins had the coverage.
And we're going to get a little nitpicky right here. And I'm going to put this on Knight a little bit. He floats the ball. Now, he's got to be able to see that there was separation created between Shepard and Dobbins, and you got to put that ball on a little bit more of a line.
Well,
because, my point being, if the ball hangs, it allows the defensive back to gain ground.
Oh, and even worse, it was out of bounds, so he had no chance.
Yeah.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And Shed called for the penalty.
And to Chris's point, probably the only area that Knight has struggled today is with the deep ball. And that's something on tape that he's been a little bit better. He overshot his receivers a couple times, Shepard a couple times on this sideline, and then on that last throw, he did throw that ball, drove him out of bounds.
Threw it away as the blitz was coming. So 50 seconds to go in the half. Oklahoma leading 31-0 and looking at 3rd and 30 outside of field goal range.
Send Shepard deep.
They line up quickly. Knight throwing another deep ball. Nobody out there, and it's nearly intercepted by Will Barrow when crashing into the Oklahoma band.
That's one tough band member. If Barrow's tough, slow getting up. The band guy's up, ready to go. Trombone in hand. Sousaphone or trombone or tuba.
No idea. Not the least bit musically inclined, and I've heard you sing, so I know you're not either.
Tuba, a good shot, good protector.
They called intentional grounding on this play.
I don't understand that call, because a lot of times we see balls that go where nobody is, and it's usually the ability to say, okay, well, they ran the wrong route, and that very well could have been the case.
Lost it down, so it is 4th down. They've moved the ball back on the penalty to the 45-yard line, and Connor Floyd back for what we anticipate will be an Oklahoma punt. Even ahead 31-0. The ultra competitive Bob Stoops not very happy about that. And this is one of those situations, 31-0 game. The officials, let's get it together, man.
Little conference there. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Always love those. Make sure they get it right.
They want to get it right regardless of the score, obviously.
Yep.
But this conversation is not likely to have much of an impact on the outcome of the game.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. There was a player in the area. It's 4th down from the 47-yard line.
Well, he's a player. He's a player of instruments.
He's pretty,
music.
Yeah, he's
showing his technique.
Pretty good size.
There's very little room on the sideline here. That is a bit of a danger to have the band standing that close to the field. Danger to the players too, because running into a tuba is probably not the most pleasant thing. How'd you get hurt? Well, I ran into the tuba player right before the half. The punt downed inside the 5. Back in rainy Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Sooners putting it on the Golden Hurricane. Final minute of the first half. Tulsa from very deep in its own territory. Content, it seems, to just let the half end and try to regroup. Flanders picked up 5.
Brings up a 2nd and 5. Probably a good idea. Don't snap the ball. You don't want to have a turnover, anything silly happen. Just go in and regroup, draw something up.
That's what they're going to do. 396 yards of offense for Oklahoma in the first half. They scored 21 points in the first quarter for the 2nd game in a row. Prior to last week, they hadn't done that in the first quarter since 2010. 31-0. Stay tuned for a complete halftime report right after these messages. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. A tough day for this newcomer to the American Athletic Conference. Tulsa hosting Oklahoma, and at the half it is 31-0 in favor of the Sooners, the number 4 team in the country. Sean McDonough and Chris Spielman rejoined in a moment by Todd McShay. It's a playoff at the end of the year. Oklahoma's a team that hopes to be in it. So, ordinarily you'd say in the second half, call off the dogs, let other guys play. But I would imagine that compiling stats is important as well.
Well, I think so. And I think they probably have a target in their mind of about getting 50 on the board. And just remember, and it's okay because it's Division I football. It's not Oklahoma's job to stop Oklahoma. They do what they do and do it well, and they need to coach their team how they think they can progress through the season and get better. Tulsa has to do a better job of something, giving up a little bit of a fight.
Hodgson's kickoff down to Bishop Louis. And here's Todd McShay.
Well, guys, obviously Trevor Knight at the quarterback position. We've talked a lot about him, but I've been so impressed with Oklahoma's rushing attack so far. They've been dominant. They started off with the big reverse early on to Sterling Shepard, the wide receiver number 3. You see 21, the running back Keith Ford was down there blocking down the field. They love to block downfield. It's almost like the competition they have between one another. Then you see Ford coming back with the touchdown run. Really good seal-off blocks. And then finally after that, you've got number 28, Alex Ross, showing some burst in the open field, but also a really good job up front. You're not going to find many teams more dominant up front than this Oklahoma team.
Well, they sustain blocks, Todd. That's the difference between them and a lot of other big offensive lines, their ability to hang on blocks for a long time.
James Flanders carried on the first play from scrimmage, got 4. Jordan Evans made the tackle. Oklahoma actually on the short end of the time of possession, proving how meaningless that often is. 396 yards of offense. Evans throws, open receiver, Kieris Garrett weaving his way out to midfield. Ahmad Thomas made the stop for Oklahoma.
Yeah, the first obvious mental bust right here by Oklahoma's defense. Nets Grissom, who's normally a good pass rusher out in coverage, he's got to ride that number 2 receiver inside, so there's not an easy throwing lane for Dane Evans.
20-yard gain, longest of the day for the Golden Hurricane. Back to the ground with Flanders. Jordan Evans made the tackle, but that's 13 more, and now it's Tulsa getting it in big chunks against Mike Stoops' defense.
Frustrating for him. Should be joyful for Bill Blankenship, the play caller, to see his Golden Hurricane show some fight.
They're going to try to get as much out of this second half as they can, playing a quality opponent, try to get better. Single coverage. Kieris Garrett, the intended receiver. Julian Wilson running with him, and the pass incomplete.
Matchup they like, and Julian Wilson, again, last year played nickel. This year moves to the full-time corner. First game was impressive, and I'm really impressed with him this game. He's a long, lanky corner that can cover man-to-man.
You can see the stands now just about half empty. The attendance today, 29,357. That's a little bit shy of a sellout. Evans throws over the middle. Josh Atkinson taken down just short of the first down. Dominique Alexander the stop for Oklahoma.
Well, you can say a lot about this Tulsa offense. They continue to try to grind away. Dane Evans has struggled, pressure in his face all day long. Did a nice job there, though, with Stryker bearing down on him.
James Flanders carries for another first down. Well, this is a Tulsa team, Chris, that hopes to be competitive in the American Athletic Conference. They're a newcomer to the conference. There are 11 teams in the American. Cincinnati, Central Florida among those expected to compete for the conference crown. But Bill Blankenship thinks 3-9 last year was an aberration for a lot of reasons, and that they should be a competitive team in the conference again this year. On target to Kevin Lucas, and another first down to the 11-yard line. Ahmad Thomas tripped him up and saved a touchdown.
Good right there. Patience by Dane Evans and moving his feet, keeping his feet in throwing positions, shuffling to the side, and able to hit Kevin Lucas on an in route.
D'Angelo Brewer, the running back, now to the left of Dane Evans. Evans chased from behind, throws up a ball for grabs, and it's incomplete. Joshua Atkinson, the intended receiver, and Quentin Hayes had the coverage.
Yeah, I believe they were picked in the preseason to finish last. I think they're a pretty good football team, and they're only going to get better. They're young, and that young man right there, Dane Evans, is going to get better. And it's a new offense for them. They got rid of the coordinator last year. Denver Johnson takes over this year along with Bill Blankenship. It's more suited toward his skill set.
Yeah, they've really simplified the offense. Flanders runs inside the 5. Last year their passing game was built largely around options for the receivers, and Dane Evans wasn't always sure what those receivers were going to do as they were exercising those options. There were a lot of balls that weren't anywhere near receivers that Evans threw. Now it's much more well defined what the receivers are expected to do on every play. Evans completed just 43% of his passes last year.
Well, you know, it takes years to perfect that type of system. If you're Aaron Rodgers or one of my favorites, Tom Brady, working with those receivers and having the time to put in, then you guys get on the same page as far as reading what the defense is giving you. Then you understand that you're seeing the same thing as a quarterback seeing, then you run your route accordingly. And to try to do that here, they had a lot of trouble with it with a freshman quarterback.
Jordan Evans is the injured player for Oklahoma.
Oh, and to Chris's point, I've been really impressed. Dane Evans has been in an impossible situation here today, guys. I mean, his receivers have been covered up for the most part. He's been under pressure consistently. He's for the very most part, he's made good decisions and tried not to put the ball up for grabs. He's had to a little bit more recently. And remember, too, it hasn't stopped raining here since we kicked the ball off. So the ball's wet, which affects both the quarterback and his receivers. He's had a few drops. But this young man is gutsy. He's a coach's kid. He can run around. He can make some plays, and he's got a strong arm. He'll only continue to get better with more game experience.
Evans off the field. Dane Evans hands off on 3rd down and 3, and Flanders doesn't get there. Back to the line, and that's all. Caleb Gastelum, who just came in for Jordan Evans, made the play. He got a lot of action last week against Louisiana Tech and played very well.
Well, again, he, former walk-on, does a good job of flowing down the line of scrimmage, getting his head in front, not securing the tackle, but slowing him up enough for Julian Wilson to come in. But good form, seeing what you hit and bring your feet and run through your target, all that good stuff. I give you an A+ for execution, a D for finishing, though. Got to get him on the ground.
Jordan Evans back in, so he was out for just one play. And on 4th and 2, they're lined up to go for it, and Bill Blankenship is called for a timeout.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Oklahoma hopes to be a part of it. And right out of the timeout, as they were lining up, 4th and 2 for Tulsa, Bob Stoops didn't like the way his defense was aligned against the Tulsa formation, so another timeout call. This is the first year of the college football playoff. A lot of fans are still unfamiliar with how it's going to work. A selection committee comprised of 13 people, chaired by Jeff Long, the athletic director at the University of Arkansas, will rank the top 25 teams, placed 4 into semifinals that will be seeded. Semifinals are going to rotate to different bowls each year.
You know, the one thing that I'm concerned with is you have to put in eyeballs to it. I don't know if it's possible for them to see every single game. And when you evaluate a team, at least for me, I like to do 3 games. I don't know if you can do that or not.
4th down and 2. Tulsa going for it. And they have a touchdown. Kevin Lucas gets Tulsa on the board.
Good job and good call by Bill Blankenship. It's a nice little pick play. They ran this in practice on Thursday on Reds. I'll see a guy coming in, just picking off, getting in the way of Hayes, allowing Kevin Lewis to stretch, get that ball in the end zone. Good field awareness by Kevin to get it across the line of scrimmage. That's just a little pick play that's 101 for Tulsa football.
He has 4 touchdowns already this year. Had 3 last week in their season opening win against Tulane. Dane Evans, the touchdown pass. They had 95 yards of offense in the entire first half. 75 on that impressive opening drive in the 3rd quarter.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
At the McDougall School of Petroleum Engineering, University of Tulsa students practice drilling firsthand with the school's state-of-the-art drilling simulator.
Golden Driller.
Outstanding academic institution. They've been getting drilled for most of the day, but they just had a nice drive to get on the board. 31-7 now. They went 11 plays, 75 yards.
Sign of a well-coached team coming out of halftime, putting together a drive, and the players executing. That's the fight you want to see from the Hurricane.
Michael Soper chips one down the field to about the 19-yard line. Deron Neal trying to come across the field. Ball came out as he got banged down at the 31-yard line.
Now, it was a tie going into the pile. We'll see what happens inside the pile, but going into that scrum, it was a tie. Neal was fighting for it.
The Tulsa players are saying they have it. And they don't.
I've been on the bottom of those piles. Believe me, anything goes. You just hold on for dear life if you have it. Stuff goes into that pile to put WWE to shame. Oh boy, there you see right there, Tulsa has a chance at it, and Neal's just finding it, holding on. Good effort by the Golden Hurricane to try to rip it out of there.
Zika Siabu helped to knock it out. Michael Muda was also there. Keith Ford is the running back now behind Trevor Knight in the pistol. And Michael Mudo, good tackle in space. Good safety for Tulsa. Michael Mudo, 10 tackles last week against Tulane. That was his 5th straight game of double-figure tackles dating back to last year. He has 5 tackles today. Knight's pass behind Deron Neal. And it'll be 3rd down and 5.
That's something what he'll get better the more reps that he gets, because they're not on the same page. He was expecting him to sit that little hitch route and break out a little bit. Deron Neal brought it in. Just miscommunication once again between a receiver and a quarterback.
So 3rd down and 5. Sluggish start to the second half for Oklahoma. Tulsa touchdown drive, the fumble on the kickoff return. And now Knight says so much for that sluggishness, Sean. And the Oklahoma fans thought there was a little extracurricular delivered by John L. Celestin as he tackled Shepard out of bounds. First down, Oklahoma at the 46.
Well, that was dealer's choice right there for Trevor Knight. Could have tucked it and run and got the first down, but trusting his arm and trusting his receivers, his eyes stayed down in the field and decided to get the ball into a playmaker's hands.
The pistol again. Shepard 5 catches now for 117 yards. Knight throws, caught. Dimitri Flowers to the 41-yard line. Well, we're going to head back to our studio, bring in one of our rules experts, Bill Lemonnier, longtime terrific referee on the field in the Big Ten. And Bill, you had a point you wanted to make about the fumble play on the kickoff return.
Yeah, Sean, there's no question they could review whether the run was down or whether it was a fumble. But that was not a clear recovery by an individual player. Once that pile occurred, whatever the officials ruled in terms of the recovery, that's not a reviewable part of the play.
It'll be a tough thing to review with so many bodies piled on top of whoever did recover it. Heath Ford, a big hole and a first down to the 23-yard line. 18-yard gain.
Outstanding job again of that big offensive line, averaging 321 across the board of sustaining blocks. A lot of times you have big guys that fall off blocks. These guys will sustain and drive and chop their feet all the way down the field.
Keith Ford, touchdown, untouched, right through the middle. Great block by Aaron Ripkowski. And the Sooners answer the Tulsa score with a touchdown of their own with 9.5 to go in the third.
You know, I think they've really, the coaching staff for the Sooners just wanted to take advantage. It's been raining all day, as we talked about. Throw the football and try to get some more reps in that area. Because if you really look at this Sooners team, that's the weakness, if you will, or the area that has to improve. When they get back to the run, they're able to rip off big chunks of yardage, but they've really tried to take advantage of having this big lead and throwing the football. They give up a touchdown, and now the Sooners come back and they're running the football at will, really.
23-yard touchdown run and the extra point by Michael Honeycutt. Keith Ford's second touchdown of the day has made it 38-7 for Oklahoma. 5 touchdown drives for the Sooners, the shortest 72 yards. Excuse me, 69 yards. The most recent one. 3 of them 80 yards plus. Shown the ability to go the long field and take a short amount of time to do it. Nick Hodgson kicks off. Arian Dickerson back along with D'Angelo Brewer, and no chance for Brewer to bring that one back. Let's take a look at this week's Associated Press college football rankings, brought to you by Allstate. Florida State #1 in the country again this week. Alabama, as expected, hammering Florida Atlantic. Big game of the day is at 6:30 Eastern time. Michigan State at Oregon. Who do you like in that one?
Well, I like Oregon, but Michigan State is built to give Oregon trouble because Michigan State's built like Stanford, that powerful defense, physical, tough running, and that has given Oregon problems in the past.
Dane Evans, nice touch on that ball out into the flat. Mandel Dixon, the H-back, got 9. Chuka Ndulaway made the tackle for Oklahoma. That game in Eugene is the first game this season between 2 top 10 teams. 5th meeting all time. Michigan State's fared well against the top 5 under Mark D'Antonio.
Connor Cook continues to get better.
Kevin Lucas the catch. Got the first down before he was planted by Quentin Hayes. Ball will be marked at the 37-yard line. First down.
This is good, and you like to see this starting to evolve in college football because of the nature of awareness as opposed to the targeting, penalties, and the injuries. Quentin Hayes keeps his head up and he runs through his target, puts the shoulder in there, avoids contact with the head. Good form tackle, coaching film for Quentin Hayes.
9th catch for Kevin Lucas, who had 13 last week in their win against Tulane. Whoa, bad pass, picked off. Gino Grissom trying to take it back, and he does. Touchdown, 38 yards. is the 16th season for Bob Stoops as head coach, and it's the 49th touchdown scored by the defense. Would have been the second of the day, but they had one called back earlier.
When you stare him down, Sean, bad things happen. He never took his eyes off his target, Flanders.
I know. When you stare me down in the weight room, I know you're just kind of disgusted by my performance.
You're outstanding. A little disgusted by McShay's performance, but he'll get better. Look at the eyes, right to him. Grissom steps in place. Get on the highlight film, will you? Certainly.
Tonight on ABC, the final race before the new chase. 6 grueling months of racing. Tonight, the last shot to lock up a spot. There are several racers trying to race their way in. 16 advance. 1 race to go before the chase. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Richmond, presented by AutoZone tonight at 7 Eastern Time on ABC. Also live on Watch ESPN.
Money time for those guys, isn't it? Getting in that chase.
Saw Clint Boyer on SportsCenter this morning talking about he's trying to drive his way in. He's won twice in the past at Richmond. Win tonight, and he's definitely in. After the touchback, we take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
This number 85, Gino Grissom, playing outside linebacker, shows a good job of being disciplined, not jumping anything underneath or inside, staying in his area, reading the eyes of Dane Evans, who was staring down Flanders, and it's no surprise that a linebacker gets the Allstate Good Hands play.
Oh,
hey, Spiels, I haven't seen your tape in a while. How are your hands?
I like glue, man.
Come on.
They often used to get Chris Carter and I mixed up.
Quick toss to Kevin Lucas. He's having another big game. Swung out of bounds by Dom Alexander.
He's a good football player and explosive. Somebody that's only going to get better. Still a young player. At one time considered going to Texas Tech. Then Tulsa stole his heart. Got him here.
Well, he got hurt his senior year in high school. Had a knee injury, and Texas Tech backed away. Evans throws. Nice ball. Mandel Dixon the catch into Sooner territory at the 48. Ahmad Thomas in coverage for Oklahoma. 15-yard gain.
Denver Johnson said Dixon has to be part of their offense. A good story there, Sean, if you saw it on game day. He was one of those walk-on kids that was awarded a scholarship this summer. He's going to be a big part of this offense as the season progresses.
Dixon transferred from Pittsburgh State of Kansas. D'Angelo Brewer, the 40-yard line. There's Mandel Dixon.
He's that hybrid that you look for in offense. The fullback, H-back, can go on tight end, can move out to a slot receiver. Very versatile.
D'Angelo Brewer has the first down.
In case you guys were wondering, the Sooners have not called off the dogs yet. We still have Eric Stryker on the field. Phillips, number 80, just left the field, but he was on this series. And they still have their starters in, and it's just on the sideline. And Mike Stoops, no one's told him that it's 45-7.
No, and I'll tell you, I see him over there throwing a little bit of fit, and he should, because his guys aren't playing.
Evans can't find a receiver, trying to improvise, throws it away. The general direction of Kieris Garrett. Charles Walker is not getting up for Oklahoma. Redshirt freshman from Garland, Texas, back up on that front three for the Sooners.
That's one area that they do have a lot of depth.
Looking at his left knee. Back in a moment. Charles Walker's been helped to his feet, and he limps off the field. The Sooners leading 45-7, more than midway through the third quarter. Oklahoma responded to Tulsa's only score of the game with 2 touchdowns within a minute. One of them scored by the defense, Geno Grissom, who's become a scoring machine for the defense. Last year against Texas, Grissom returned an interception, 54 yards for a touchdown. In the Sugar Bowl, he had a fumble return, 8 yards for a touchdown. And now another touchdown today.
We talked about it. It's just those guys like Sanchez are just always in position, and somehow they make plays. And Grissom has certainly done that from his outside linebacker position.
Looked like a quarterback draw. Evans ducks down just shy of the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Geno Grissom another tackle. One change for Tulsa this year, they have a full-time quarterbacks coach. In the past, Bill Blankenship has worked with some graduate assistants to coach the quarterbacks. With the struggles last year, Bill turned to his son, Josh Blankenship, a former quarterback here at Tulsa, and a good one, who come from high school coaching and coached the QBs. It is old school for his dad. Connor Floyd, the intended receiver. Dane Evans says it's made a huge difference to have somebody of Josh's experience help mentor him. Bill Blankenship realized you open yourself up to criticism when you fill a position on your staff with your son, and now he has 2 of them. Bill said his wife Angie, Josh's mom, was particularly upset because Bill acknowledges that he might be on the hot seat here after 3-9. She said, I'm okay with you losing your job, but I'm not happy about my son and maybe my grandchildren being placed into some sort of difficulty if it doesn't go well. They're going for it on 4th down. Good catch, and now he couldn't hang on. Ball a little high for Kevin Lucas. And Tulsa turns it over on downs.
Well, this is just the difference in playing a team like Oklahoma or playing Tulane. You can make this catch if you're playing Tulane and turn and run up the field. But the difference is when you play the skill level of an Oklahoma defense, as soon as that ball touches your hands, they narrow that gap and close in and either get the tackle right on the stop or break up the pass with a violent hit.
By the way, Bill Blankenship says, I always consider myself on the hot seat. That's the nature of coaching. Yeah. And you always put pressure on yourself to win every year, regardless of how it went the year before. I think it's kind of silly given the job that he's done here. I mean, 2 years ago, he said they won the conference. Last year, they had some key injuries and the loss of DeMarco Nelson, their outstanding safety for academics. One of those seasons where everything just kind of spiraled away for them. But here's their new conference, 11 teams this year. Next year, Navy will join and be the 12th football playing member. Tulsa already 1-0 in conference with that win over Tulane. Schools used to be in Conference USA like Tulsa, the remnants of the old Big East. Trent Martin made the tackle on Alex Ross.
They were talking about it yesterday. I agree with it. I think Navy's going to be a fine addition to that conference and very competitive and well coached. I just think it makes that conference stronger when you bring a team like Navy in the mix.
3rd down and 9. 5:20 to go, 3rd quarter. Oklahoma leading 45-7. Trevor Knight. They rushed 5, didn't get there, and he threw it up for grabs, almost picked off by Craig Supes, who was intended for Deron Neal. Flag back behind the line of scrimmage.
Offense number 71. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Tyrus Thompson, the left tackle, called for holding, and Oklahoma will punt.
A good start for Brent Guy and his defense. Gave up a big play, but continuing to fight and executing a 3-and-out.
Jed Barnett to kick. Tumbling down to Connor Floyd. And a 3-yard return by Floyd before Daniel Brooks got him on the field turf. Well, Monday Night Football is back. And we have a Week 1 doubleheader this Monday night starting at 7:10. Eli Manning and the Giants hoping to get back into the playoffs this year as they take on Calvin Johnson and Detroit. Then at 10:20, the Chargers and the Cardinals. ESPN's Monday Night Football, also live on Watch ESPN. The Cardinals 10-6 last year, finished strong, did not make the playoffs, but a lot of people like their chances to be in the playoffs this year.
I think they're going to be very good, and the team that I'm interested in is the Giants. What Giants are we going to get? Good Giants or bad Giants? You never know. Either they're really good or really bad.
Well, they need a better offensive line than they had a year ago for certain, and Eli needs to play a lot better. Dane Evans on first down has his man, Connor Floyd, out to the 49-yard line. Caleb Gastelum made the tackle. 26 yards for this offense, finding some rhythm.
There's a rule of one in front, one's behind. Dominic Alexander jumped Atkinson, number 88, as an underneath route, and they set him up, and they hit Connor Floyd on the in route over the top.
Now a deep ball, jump ball. Kieris Garrett tried to adjust to the short throw. Julian Wilson in coverage, help from Ahmad Thomas. 2nd and 10.
Garrett got away with an offensive interference. He grabbed the shirt and pulled the jersey of Julian Wilson. Take a look. They got away with one right here. Right here, see the pull? Julian Wilson was in position to make the interception off of that. You get away with it. If you can get away with it, get away with it. But lucky break for the Hurricane.
Evans off the hands of Floyd, incomplete. Floyd caught the game-winning pass in the second overtime last week here against Tulane. First career touchdown reception. That was the first lead of the game. They trailed throughout. They were down early by 14 points. Rallied to win, and an important win for Tulsa, coming off the 3-9 that was so disappointing last year. It would have been a tough way to start this year with a loss at home.
To conference.
Yeah, against the team you would expect to beat at home. Sinker low and away, intended for James Flanders. And they'll punt on 4th and 10 from midfield.
And he's going to get better, Dane Evans. I mean, he's inconsistent today, but on film he will get better. And again, it's all about the reps and learning a new offense and getting on the same page with the receivers. This is great experience for them and try to execute their fundamentals under pressure against a top 4 football team.
Sterling Shepard will handle the punt from Dalton Parks. Good kick. Shepard lets it bounce. Tulsa should down it inside the 5. Beautifully done. Gonna mark it inside the 2. Luke Snyder down there. Put it right on the 1-yard line. Tonight, ESPN's college football prime time. Frank Beamer, Urban Meyer, Virginia Tech, and Ohio State. The Buckeyes ranked number 8. College football prime time presented by Hampton Hotels, 8 Eastern time on ESPN. First meeting ever between Ohio State and Virginia Tech. And what did you think of J.T. Barrett's first start?
I think he was tentative at first, but I think Coach Herman, the offensive coordinator, and Urban Meyer took the reins off and said, look, J.T., don't be a distributor. Be a quarterback. You've been in the system a year and a half. Run the system and run the plays.
Play fake out of his own end zone. Knight wants to throw a 99-yard touchdown pass. Instead, he'll settle for about 50. John L. Celestin made the tackle on Sterling Shepard.
I think that was the best deep ball that we've seen from Trevor Knight all day. If there's one area that you point to that was kind of a frustration for the Sooners offensively, it would be throwing the ball down the field today. Knight has thrown a couple good balls that were dropped. A couple times he sailed the ball a little bit, but that one was right on time, which was very important and allowed his receiver to run under it.
Plus the pre-snap read of seeing the press coverage, and you have a guy like Sterling Shepard out there, you trust that he's going to get open and beat that.
49-yard play. Now they come back, and they did not fool the Tulsa defense on that throw to Sterling Shepard, who lost about 3. Huge day for Shepard for the 2nd year in a row against Tulsa. Last year he had 123 yards receiving, which was his career high, on 8 catches and 2 touchdowns. Those were all career highs. Today, not as many catches, but more yards. Slot receiver last year. Now he'll be out wide, almost always to the right. of the formation this year for Oklahoma. And another deep ball intended for Shepard. Well, he just kind of swatted Kerwin Thomas out of the way, and that might be an offensive pass interference call. That's what the Tulsa sideline believes.
Good job by Kerwin Thomas of not biting on the double move. I love the aggressive play calling of Josh Heupel and Jay Norvell.
Pass interference. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty on that. First down.
We'll see on a double move right here. Oh, no, it wasn't a double move, just a little bit of a takeoff, and I don't see the pass interference on number 2. You can look and lean and avoid the contact, and I don't understand that one.
That's a bad call.
You can't ask the kid to do any more. Perfect technique, good position, looked into him. Outstanding job of coverage.
High snap, Knight handled it. Samaje Perine to the 36, under 3 minutes to go now in the third quarter. Oklahoma leading 45-7.
Again, they're being aggressive, and they're going after, and they're letting these guys play situational football. That was a great job of them even to execute their offense, the coming out offense they call when you're backed up against your own end zone. Hit the deep one off the get-go to get good field position.
Perine again. Michael Mudo made the tackle at the bottom of the pile. Jake Sizlove, a backup inside linebacker, senior from Argyle, Texas.
P-line's a straight line, or Perine's a straight line. He does not look to make any moves. He knows what he does well, and that's to run over people.
At 243 pounds, true freshman, one of 8 true freshmen to play in their opening win last week against Louisiana Tech.
That's the exciting thing about this team is their youth, the talented youth that they recruit.
Timeout, Oklahoma. See a little indecision on the part of Knight as he kept looking over to the sideline. Well, Oklahoma, the preseason pick to win its conference, the Big 12. Although many fancy Baylor's chances. Then K-State, Texas in the first year under Charlie Strong. Oklahoma State lost a lot of talent off that team that we saw at the end of last regular season. Chris was poised to win the Big 12 conference and go to the Fiesta Bowl, and then Oklahoma spoiled it with that dramatic victory in Stillwater on a freezing cold day at the end of last season. And it's amazing because at the time, we talked going into that game about Oklahoma, if they win that game, outside chance for an at-large bid into the BCS Bowls. They wound up getting it, and they beat Alabama, and it looked like that just propelled their program into this season with a whole different sense.
Well, I agree, and it's the confidence and the success that Trevor Knight had in that ball game has carried on into his offseason and his preparation. And you see the comfort level that he's playing that first week against Louisiana Tech and today against Tulsa. I think the Big 12 is very competitive, and the team that I like is Baylor. And the main reason I like Baylor, Sean, they got a little momentum going, new stadium, but Bryce Petty, I mean, he was as good as I watched on film last year. I don't know what Todd has for him, but to me, he might be the #1 guy on the board as quarterback goes.
In the entire country.
Well, right now I go back and forth between he and Marcus Mariota at Oregon.
Mm-hmm. And not the reigning Heisman Trophy winner.
If I had to pick, that's where I'm going. Because the reigning Heisman Trophy winner has issues, trust issues with me because he makes poor decisions off the field. That's why I have a little trouble with it.
Have you discussed that with him? Will Barrow
I would love to discuss it with him.
Pass?
Yeah, I would.
Well, you can discuss it with him over TV. I agree with you about Bryce Petty. I think everybody's going to wonder about Baylor quarterbacks within the system.
Right.
And we heard that about Texas Tech quarterbacks over the years. Is it that they're talented, or is it everybody's going to put up huge numbers in Mike Leach's offense?
Art Briles with that versatile offense and receivers. Yep. But I like the way he throws it, the zip, the decision making.
Keith Ford weaving his way for a first down. Well, right on cue, here's Todd McShay. Todd, who are your top 5 quarterbacks?
Well,
right
when they asked me if I wanted to work these sidelines and stand in the pouring rain, they said, you know, Chris Spielman's there. And I said, well, maybe I will do it because I love talking NFL draft with him. Marcus Mariota is my #1 quarterback. Jameis Winston does have issues, and he's got to improve on the field and off the field. But there's no denying his talent. But both of those two guys, remember, can come back for another year, probably more likely than Winston would than Mariota. Hundley, you saw Brett Hundley, you see him there, that 2nd round grade. I love his physical tools. I think he has a lot of developing to do in terms of how he manages the pocket and also the consistency. And after that, I've got Bryce Petty with Sean Mannion kind of in the mid-round range. Petty's accuracy, I know it sounds crazy and people are going to kill me on Twitter, but the accuracy in terms of missing inside the strike zone with a lot of big windows in that offense, it's not as good as it needs to be.
I think what jumped out at me most about that, Chris, is Todd's description of the weather. If this is a pouring rain, I don't want to see when we actually are in a
It's going to be a long year, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
Talk about overanalyzing, Todd.
I'd give your weather analysis a C-. End of the 3rd quarter. You had a downpour here in Tulsa. 48
free agent for Todd.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
And we're back in Tulsa for the 4th quarter. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Stormy McShay down on the sidelines. 45-7 Oklahoma. This drive started. The Sooners won. They're now at the 15 of Tulsa. First play of the 4th quarter. A bullet thrown by Knight and a diving catch for a touchdown. What a day for Sterling Shepard.
Just hit him on a skinny post, and Trevor Knight throws this ball on time. When his back foot sets, he's going to hit Sterling Shepard on a little out. Does a good job of the corner overplaying, cuts underneath, and a well-thrown ball by Trevor Knight. Low and away, trusting his guy to lay out to make the catch.
8 catches today for 177 yards. That's a career high. Extra point good by Honeycutt. Oklahoma leading by 45.
Family season premiere Wednesday, September 24th on ABC.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
Here's a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Trevor Knight's had a big day. Effective when he's run the ball. Very few design quarterback runs, but particularly prolific today through the air. Oklahoma's rushed for 251 yards. They averaged 224 per game last year, and that was their best since 1991. Playmakers all over the defense. They scored a defensive touchdown, actually scored 2. One of them called back for a penalty on the return. D'Angelo Brewer brings back the Nick Hodgson kickoff. $99 yards, the scoring drive. In case you missed the touchdown, video of it is available on the SportsCenter app. Available on your mobile devices and tablets whenever you need it.
Very efficient offense. And they're getting to work on a lot of situations. That 99-yard drive, they had a chance to go up top early from the 1-yard line, showing trust in the offensive line, getting Sterling Shepard involved. Big plays.
D'Angelo Brewer, the ball carrier. Some backups in there on the defense. Caleb Gastelum made the tackle with help from Aaron Franklin. So much to like about this Oklahoma performance if you were the coaching staff or Sooner fan, and no turnovers near the top of that list for sure. D'Angelo Brewer. Flag down. Brewer turned the corner and got a first down, but it's a holding penalty.
I think you're going to get Key Harris Garrett.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty Repeat, second down.
Davis Walton, the right tackle. He is the only senior on their entire offense. First team, second team, doesn't matter. One senior on the offensive side of the ball. It's a very young Tulsa team.
And only going to get better, Sean, because they do have some playmakers, and it just need time to gel and have their offense come to grips a little bit more. And Dane Evans getting involved, and will get better. More defenses he sees.
He's so much better than he was a year ago. Nowhere to throw it. He said last year he was just so excited every time he went in there, just too fired up, and it really hurt his ability to think clearly, make good decisions. Coach Blankenship's decision to hire a quarterback coach certainly helped. They spent a lot of time on the mental side of the game.
Well, it's important when you run this type of offense to continue to acquire talent, because it relies so much on a quick passing game and getting the ball in the hands of your playmakers so they can do something with it.
Look out, Evans sacked back at the 12-yard line. Gastelum leading the charge again. P.L. Lindley, another backup linebacker, also in there.
Well, Gastelum was a guy that makes his opportunities. He's going to beat number 4 Brewer there, the true freshman, who does not get a body or square up in the hole. And every time he gets an opportunity to play, was proven last week and this week, he finds his way around the football, making big plays for Sooner defense.
Dalton Parks will punt it from about his own goal line. Wow, that is a bomb, driving Shepard back inside the 30 and retreating with good coverage as well. Finally, they got him down. Luke Snyder's had a good day on special teams. Made the tackle. Looks like it might be the end of the day for Trevor Knight. No helmet on as they go to offense.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick. And the new Dollar Cravings menu at Taco Bell. Live Más.
Inside the Automotive Research Center, Tulsa engineering students collect forensic data from vehicle crashes to study automotive design. Very good academic school. I didn't realize what a good academic institution this is till we were here and read some of the stats. Samaje Perine carry, took a handoff from the new quarterback making his debut. Cody Thomas, redshirt freshman from Colleyville, Texas, Heritage High School. Redshirted a year ago, ran the scout team offense and benefited from the tutelage of Josh Heupel, offensive coordinator. Perine dumped for a loss by Trent Martin.
Held out last week because of a little bit of a rib issue, and that's why Trevor Knight played so deep into the 4th quarter. But this is excellent experience for him to get that game time speed. And just in case, knock on wood, you never want to have anything happen, but if you do, you know you'll have a guy that had some game reps if he has to go into the ball game again.
They come after him with a 5-man rush. Thomas throws a screen pass to Perine. He lunges for the first down marker. And he stepped out about 2 yards short of it. Jake Sizlove credited with the tackle. Another good day for Trevor Knight. 299 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, ran for 35 and a score. Did not turn it over. The 2 games previous to this, Chris, the opener against Louisiana Tech and the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, those 2 games combined, he threw for 601 yards, which is more than he had thrown for in the other 7 career games he had played combined prior to the last 2. So, I mean, he's just getting better every week and putting up big numbers now every week. Connor Floyd handles the punt from Jed Barnett. He gets dumped immediately at the 20. Well, Todd, what'd you see?
Well, there were a few throws, I thought, on the deep ball where he was off target, but as we've seen in the tape going back the last couple games, really good on swing passes, which is so important for run after catch. Quick decisions he's making in the play action game. And here you saw, I think the last couple deep balls have been a little bit better. His timing has been there, good pre-snap reads, making throws into those tight windows. He's had a nice day. I think he'll continue to improve. And it's been, you know, from a guy who was struggling last year, didn't know if he was going to be the starter, finally won the job. To see the progress that he's made, it's really been impressive, and it goes to some of the coaching and just the resolve that Knight has.
Yeah, what comes with that is confidence. And when you get confidence, guess what? The offensive line, the receivers, the defense all look at you as the guy. And when you play like Trevor Knight's playing, they understand that no matter what happens in the ball game, if we have a quarterback playing at this level, we will always be in it.
D'Angelo Brewer carried for 5 on first down for Tulsa. Knight also has all the great leadership attributes. Bob Stoops raves about what an outstanding team leader he is. Terrific young man off the field. Involved the last couple of summers in mission trips down to Haiti with other OU athletes. Brewer carried again. Nice feature on their telecast last week on their game against Louisiana Tech about Knight's very close relationship with his twin brother Connor, who's on this team. There's a long snapper, backup tight end.
I love the fact of how proud Connor was when Trevor took the field as the starter, and just loves every minute of it and lives through it with his brother. What a great experience for both of them.
Bishop Louis the reception. Trevor Knight talks about the most fun he has during Oklahoma games is when his brother gets into the game and he gets to watch him play. Congratulations there for Cody Thomas, who's completed his first pass on the screen. 1 for 1 on the drive before they punted.
It's just interesting watching Trevor work the sidelines, and what a leader does is he'll go to every guy and he'll fist pump him or high five him, interact with them. That's what leaders do. You see his brother right there. How about some love, brother? Hopefully he'll get into the game as a tight end.
Quentin Hayes walking off the field slowly. That's the reason for the stoppage in play. Under 10 minutes to go now. Oklahoma leading 52-7. On the way to defeating Tulsa for the 8th consecutive meeting. Gastelum another stop as he took down Brewer. We're talking about, no, we didn't realize what a good academic institution Tulsa is. I didn't realize how many terrific players have played here. We talked earlier about the 3 Pro Football Hall of Famers, Bob St. Clair, Steve Largent, one of the great receivers of all time, Jim Finks. They've had many more outstanding players here over the years. Showed you Howard Twilley, Jerry Rome,
T.J. Rubley, quarterback.
Gus Farrat played here. Don Blackman, I remember as a Patriot fan growing up, outstanding linebacker. They've had success in recent years since 2003, 88-56. 3 years prior to that, 7 wins. They had 2 one-win seasons in a row. Steve Cragthorpe came in here and really turned it around before he went to Louisville. Todd Graham took over. He kept it going. And then Bill Blankenship, in his first 3 years, maintained the success before it fell off last year. Evans runs and slides down short of the first down by about 2 yards.
That's where he has to make a little bit more of a decision right there. He had room maybe to stretch for the first. I understand he's trying to protect himself, but not at the sake of giving up a first down. Now, score and time could dictate that decision, but you'd like to see him understand the field awareness to get the first down. I'd be remiss, Sean, an old teammate of mine from Buffalo that played here, Jerry Ostrowski, was an excellent guard and center.
Absolutely.
Strongest human being I ever met in my life.
He's here today.
Yeah.
You better say something nice about him.
Or he'll eat me the way he looks. Just kidding, Jerry.
Dalton Parks punts. Fair catch made by Sterling Shepard. 39-yard punt. 7:52 to go. Back in Tulsa, 4th-ranked Oklahoma on its way to a 2-0 start, leading the Golden Hurricane 52-7. And it's Sooners ball after the Oklahoma Sooners fielded the punt from Tulsa. Samaje Perine ahead for about 2. College football action continues. Coming up next on ABC. Terrific battle. Early season showdown in the Pac-12. Number 14 USC. Number 13 Stanford. Past 4 in that rivalry have been decided on the last possession of the game. Cody Thomas, freshman quarterback, his second series. And he's now 2 for 2. He throws for a first down to Jordan Smallwood, a redshirt freshman.
Well, one thing about Stanford is they're old school. I mean, you see so many spread offenses. Well, they're I formation in pound you. They have a very good quarterback in Kevin Hogan. You see his record there, 10-1 versus top 25. So what's that tell us? That he plays well in the big games. And you mentioned it, Sean. I love this early matchup, this conference matchup in the Pac-12 early in the season. It gets it going, it gets the juices flying.
Not a lot of marquee games this week, but that is near the top of the list. Ripkowski to catch. Cody Thomas now 3 for 3. We mentioned it's his debut in a game for the football team. He's a two-sport athlete. He is a member of the baseball team with their outstanding coach Pete Hughes. Corresponded with Pete about Cody Thomas, the baseball player. He's a great physical specimen who can really run. His raw power from the left side, very tough, a great teammate. I love him.
That's good that they allow him to play 2 sports. It'll be interesting if he does become a starting quarterback at Oklahoma one day. Will he have to make a decision? It was a Russell Wilson dilemma back at North Carolina State.
He played both, played minor league baseball in some of the summers. Cody Thomas is a right fielder for Coach Hughes. Saw Joe Castiglione, the longtime athletic director at Oklahoma, before the game. He was raving about the job that Pete Hughes is doing with the baseball program. That is certainly a college baseball program to keep an eye on in the coming years. Oh, the pass batted down by Brentum Todd. B-R-E-N-T-O-M. His mom's Brenda and the dad is Todd, so he became Brentum.
Makes sense to me, and a good job by Brentum of recognizing the 3-step, playing off the cut block and getting his hands in the air for the shot block.
Five and a half to go. Jed Barnett to punt. His 6th punt. It's hard to believe with 52 points on the board you could punt 6 times, but he has. And Connor Floyd made the fair catch just beyond the 25-yard line. 39-yard punt for the senior. Starting September 25th, it's TGIT. Thank God it's Thursday. That's the night for the premiere of ABC's much discussed new show, How to Get Away with Murder, starring Viola Davis. Don't miss it. Thursday, September 25th, and that's right after the season premiere of Scandal, which I am addicted to.
Oh, good. You told me about that show.
Love Scandal on ABC. Zach Langer, the ball carrier. They're going deep down the depth chart now. His first carry of the season. Here's Robert Flores back in the studio.
Yeah, speaking down on the depth chart, you're talking to him right here. Dr. Pepper conference update for the Big 12. Kansas State had scored a touchdown but denied the potential game-tying 2-point conversion. Ohio State still leading. Coming up on ABC, Ty Montgomery and Stanford hosting USC, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 local. Sean.
That would be a big win for Iowa State after losing to North Dakota State. I don't know why any team at this level wants to play North Dakota State anymore. Zach Langer, the ball carrier, tackled by Aaron Franklin, who lost his helmet and some other equipment.
Well, that's a powerful Langer right there, becoming the hitter rather than a hittee. And it's all about pad level. See, Langer's pads are lower than Franklin's. A good job of Franklin holding on and securing the block or the tackle and bouncing back up. But low man wins all the time. The low man will win.
New quarterback as well. It's Joseph Calcagni Redshirt junior from Springdale, Arkansas. This pass is incomplete. So they'll get a chance to give Calcagni a little game experience, making sure they don't get Evans hurt in the final 5 minutes of a one-sided game.
Anytime you can get your backup quarterback game reps, it only strengthens your team, just in case you need him. Dan Evans did a nice job today. A couple errant throws, but he's only going to get better. They're still learning this new offense that Bill Blankenship put in this year.
Zach Epps, a diving catch, very close to the first down marker.
New coaching situation too. Denver Johnson kind of puts the game plan together all week. Then Coach Blankenship will call the plays on game day, but that's because they trust each other. As you said earlier, college roommates.
Very close friends for a long time. Denver Johnson said, I really wouldn't agree to that kind of arrangement with anybody else but Bill Blankenship. He's the offensive coordinator. Is the play caller and wants to be, but Bill's always called the plays. More than 20 years in this state as a head football coach at the high school level, very successfully so. Langer carried for a first down. There's Denver Johnson on the right. Bill won 3 state championships as a high school coach. Denver Johnson, formerly the head coach at Murray State and Illinois State. He'll probably get another chance to be a head coach if he wants to. Very bright mind. He said, Bill was my roommate in college until one spring break he eloped. Married Angie, who still misses Blankenship.
Yeah.
And then Denver Johnson was looking for a new roommate.
By the looks of Denver, that was a good decision by Bill to elope. Denver's a great guy.
I don't even know what that means.
No, but
I'm not going to ask.
I'm kidding, because Denver's such a good guy. We had such a fun talking to him, and he said, I go, what position did you play, Coach? He said, well, I went from a slow tight end to a fast offensive tackle. And when you think about it, though, they've been together so long, and he's always been protecting Coach Blankenship, and Coach Blankenship has always been the quarterback, and it's kind of to this day like that.
Well, they're good coaches. We said they might be fighting to keep their jobs this year, but there's sanity in the world. Those who make those decisions understand they have some very good coaches here.
They're a young team, too. They have to give these guys a chance to develop that talent. And they will. Denver's from Bowlegs, Oklahoma.
Yeah, not far from Norman, he told us. Grew up following Oklahoma football. But he said it was so far out in the country, population 404 right now, by the way, Bowlegs, Oklahoma. And he said I would have to head back into town to go hunting, back toward town. That's how remote where he was living. Calcagni runs for a first down to the Oklahoma 40-yard line. 11-yard gain.
I think they're going to be all right this season, Tom.
I do too.
Be very competitive in the American Conference.
They're not going to play anybody in the American Conference that's as good as this bunch they're playing here today. They already beat a Tulane team that was in a bowl game a year ago. Rowdy Simon is the ball carrier. They continue to go deep down the depth chart, get a bunch of players some experience. Big one next for Oklahoma, Tennessee. Next on the docket, then on the road for a couple of conference games in the Big 12 before the annual showdown with Texas. Baylor comes to their place. That's a big reason why many of those preseason picks had Oklahoma winning the Big 12 instead of Baylor, the benefit of the home game head-to-head. Nice throw by Calcagni. Bishop Louis hung on.
Team that's interesting in the Big 12 is West Virginia. I thought of coming into the season, but very competitive against Alabama. And West Virginia brought on former Penn State interim coach and defensive coordinator Tom Bradley, Scrap, to consult with that defense, and he'll be a good addition to that team and to that staff.
No doubt. He's an outstanding defensive coach and a program that needs help on the defensive side for sure. Bishop Louis, another catch. Here's our first team All-American, Robert Flores.
Oh, thanks a lot, Sean. Speaking of first team All-American, Amir Abdullah, tie ball game, 30 seconds left, breaking tackles, and Nebraska, who has never lost to an FCS school, that streak remains intact. The game-winning touchdown.
Well, you said it earlier when they were in the dogfight all day long. Get the ball to Amir Abdullah. Nigel Carter the catch here for Tulsa. We're under a minute to go now. And Cal Cagney getting his first experience of the year, trying to lead a touchdown drive. He's looked very good.
4 for 6 for 30 yards. Looked good in practice too. Looked very composed.
He has played in the past. Oh boy, drives him down the field, and then Gastelum with another big play. Well, here's a guy who'd start on a lot of teams around the country. He's a backup in Oklahoma, making one play after another.
Well, that's all he does is make plays, and this is on Cal Cagney, the quarterback, because he has Langer wide open. He just does not look at Gastelum, number 45. Langer's going to come out of the backfield, see number 24, and it's kind of like a double clear or 4 vertical. He's wide open in the end zone. Just throw it a little bit of air under it. But Gastelum reading the quarterback's eyes, and Johnny on the spot. A great story. Great story for Gastelum. Every time he gets an opportunity to play, he comes in and he makes plays. And Sean, he might have been the most impressive guy at linebacker for this game for Oklahoma.
4th turnover of the game for Tulsa. Cody Thomas runs them on. You'd think they would just do what they're doing. Very conservative play, and probably won't have to snap it again, Todd.
Well, Sean, I think one thing that stands out is the talent level is back at Oklahoma. You go back to 2010, they had 7 players drafted in that draft, 4 of them first rounders. But from 2011 to 2014, 21 players selected. 16 of those were from the 4th through 7th rounds, only 1 in the 1st round. There are already 4 guys in this class I think are in that 1st, 2nd round range, and the vast majority are sophomores and juniors. I think we're going to see a lot more 1st, 2nd rounders the next few years from Oklahoma.
An impressive victory to go to 2-0. They win 52-7, 580 yards of total offense for Bob Stoops' Sooners. Coming up next on ABC, more college football action, that early season showdown of the Pac-12 between USC and Stanford. We'll be back with the post-game report after these messages.